A Norwegian beauty became a model at 13, soon gracing the covers of international fashion magazines. In her early 20s, she opted to give up the glitz and the glam to come and work with and learn from the Namibian San communities. Alexandra, together with her two best friends, have recently opted a cross-country trek on foot from Namibia's eastern border with Botswana to the western coast of Namibia. With us in the studio to discuss this life-changing journey as well as what made her change her life in the first place is Aleksandra Orbeck Nielsen. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to One Exclusive. My name is Joseph Sheefeni and I'm your new host for the show. Tonight, we look into the indigenous San community and how a Norwegian model is making strides in preserving their age-old way of life in the most novel way. And here to talk to us about this adventure is Aleksandra Nielsen, the founder and CEO of Nano Fossa. Aleksandra, welcome to the program. You were once a model and at the peak of your career, certainly living any young woman's dream. What made you leave it all and come live in Namibia?
So I started modeling full-time from the age of 13 and I moved to Paris when I was 15. And I sort of dived into a very grown-up world, working 7 days a week, 175 traveling days a year. And doing that for a long time, you know, you sort of miss the whole point of life, you know, family, nature, all real experiences. You know, I was just sort of chasing the one thing after the other. And I got a big warning, like I got robbed, held at gunpoint in New York. And that sort of made me wake up. And I went back to my flat in New York City in Manhattan. And I had a globe. And I spun it. And I said to myself, you know, wherever my finger lands, I need to go. I need to break out of this. I need to go on a holiday to clear my mind. Wherever my finger lands, I will go. And it landed on Namibia. And 2 weeks later, I was on that plane coming here. And I didn't want to do normal tourism, so I wanted to come and do volunteer work. And when I flew over Namibia, I've traveled all over the world, but that was what felt like the closest thing to home. And it sort of became my life-changing moments after coming here. And 2 weeks turned into a month, and then a month became 2 months, and then I just kept on coming back until I finally met the Sun people, which changed my life completely. Because I was like, you know, all stupid Western white people, I guess, that come and think they can save and help Africa. But actually, I've realized that I needed the saving because I hadn't seen that I have so much to learn. And that became like the groundstone of starting an organization where we all have something to learn from each other.
Tell us about the San Walk. As someone who was there from the beginning till the end, what was it like?
So me and a guy called Kui Nkamashe, which is sort of like my uncle and my brother, we decided to cross Namibia on foot, walking from Kaudum in the east all the way to the ocean. And it was a walk we did without money because we wanted to test, you know, ancient and modern ways of survival and also test humanity of people. And it was incredible. It's hard to be back in Windhoek. We shared so many real moments, you know, of what really matters. Being together and sharing and having so many wonderful people opening their homes or shops or, you know, whatever, giving us something to drink, giving us food. The only people that didn't help us was tourists. They just drove past when we were empty of water. But other than that, it was beautiful to see, you know, that Namibia is still a country where we're here for each other. And for the two Sun guys, they were very ashamed at first of being Sun, and they were scared of everybody. But towards the end, you could see that they were growing, and there was this sense of pride, and When we walked through Kamanyap and places, you know, it looked like Michael Jackson had just arrived town when Tui and Kamashe walked in. Everybody wanted to take photos, and you know, it was beautiful to see how Namibia sort of came together through this walk that we did.
Tell us about the two San men that you just spoke about.
So Kamashe has never left his village, ever. So this walk across Namibia was the first time he saw tar road, the first time he saw a town, the first time he saw rhino, the first time he saw the ocean, which is a big water hole. And he's sort of like a good representation of the young San youth that really love nature and love being in the bush, but they don't really see how they fit in between what the modern world wants them to be and what they love doing. And Kui is like an older guy, you know. He's already gray, and he's the best hunter in Nai. Everybody knows him, you know, as the best traditional hunter. And he's been working with flip sanders. He's been all around, you know, always working for conservation. So this was sort of their walk where Kamashe could grow and learn from Kui.
The non-governmental organization you established in 2011, Nano Fossa, has done quite a great deal of work when it comes to promoting the well-being of the marginalized communities. Can you tell us about it, and also whether it has yielded the results you expected?
Yeah. So the organization was started on the principle of that I believe that the San people are sitting on incredible knowledge and wisdom that we all should learn something from. And so basically what Nano Fossa works to do, we have a main engine, which is the Barefoot Academy, where the elders pass on knowledge to the younger generations. So we're extracting ancient knowledge and turning it into modern training and opportunity. So basically they are the best trackers in the world. And their tracking knowledge is essential for us to be able to protect and conserve and do research and monitoring on wildlife. The women are bush scientists. You know, there's not a plant that grows on any surface of Namibia that they don't know. And with all this knowledge, you can utilize that and turn it into something that can actually be a work opportunity, which they feel is inspiring. Because I believe that all people, we shouldn't hate Mondays and look forward to Fridays. We should look forward to every day of our life, you know, and feel inspired in what we do. And when work is something you love, then you don't have to work another day in your life, because it will always feel like you're doing something just for you and for everything else. And it still keeps that unity and sharing society. So in essence, what we do is we have several projects that conserves the nature, wildlife, and resources that their culture, community, and livelihood also depends upon. So it's marrying the two, because I don't believe there's any conservation without communities or the other way around. So they are sort of the key to sustainability, and it's our task as outsiders to recognize that, because we can't do it without them. They know the best. They've lived in nature for hundreds and thousands of years. And we also have another cool project, which is they used to be persistence hunters, so they would run down antelopes. It was the first weapon of man was actually sandals and not bows and arrows. So we have a project called the Sandal Project, where they make the ancient hunting sandals from eland skin. And we've received an order from Clark Shoes in the UK, Vivo Barefoot, of 1,400 pairs. So there's like also shoe cobblers. So it's really showing, like showcasing how you can turn something ancient into a modern work opportunity that uplifts and empowers people.
Looking at the San, they are currently considered as probably the last of their kind in the southern part of our continent. Do you think that enough is being done to enable them to preserve their culture and their way of life?
I think there's so much that needs to be done. And I think it starts with not trying to try to bring something back as to where it was, but rather embrace the things that are essential and beautiful about who they are, and seeing them as people, and not trying to, you know, turn them into some sort of figure from the past or a commodity product for tourism, but rather seeing them for who they are and all the great abilities that they have. But I know for myself, I come from Norway, and we've lost so much of our culture. And now the world wants to know about Vikings, and we know nothing. And I feel ashamed that I don't know anything about my own culture other than what was written down in a historical book. And if I would say anything, is that Namibia and the rest of the world tries to fight for the little culture that's left, because if we're all the same, then why would you ever want to walk across Namibia?
One of the issues that you mentioned in the media is that the San are often exploited by tour operators who make off with profits by displaying to tourists how these communities live, while the San gain nothing in return at all.
Well, it's not that they get nothing. I mean, they get paid. But I think there's a very fine line between when you turn people into a commodity, when they become a sales product. And believe me, I've been one. Since I was 13, I've been a model, and I've been, you know, sold to designers and magazines and whatever. And but it was still something I was informed about, you know. But what I personally don't respect or like is when you take such a beautiful people and culture, and you turn them into to performers, you know, and you put them in a living museum pretending like they don't live like that anymore. And meanwhile, they do still hunt, and they do still gather, and there's all these things. And I don't believe, you know, we all know, like with mining, for instance, it doesn't last forever. And we shouldn't be mining people, because the more someone has to pretend to be themselves from 9 to 5, then who are they after 5 o'clock? And we have to build people and allow them to tell stories and be proud. But for me, what I do and the way I work with the Sun is, if people come in from the outside, they come to learn. And you sit down on the ground and you learn from that man, because he has so much to teach you. But you don't sit and park yourself in a chair and watch the dancing sun, you know, as performers. There's no respect in that. They came first, we came second. And we have a lot of respect to return.
Did you, by any chance, learn about, to get to learn about the San before you came here, or you only found about them when you were in Norway?
I'd actually heard very little about the Sun. I'd seen Gods Must Be Crazy once, but I didn't have, you know, the link with Namibia, because for me, Namibia was a random pick on the globe. It was where my finger landed, you know. So I didn't really know what I was going to, and yeah, they're now my family, you know, and who would have thought? Before I was a concept, when I was still a person, I didn't dream of followers or being anybody else but me. I imagined life based on dreams, not on money. When did your opinion become larger than mine? I am not my image, my job, or my looks. It's time to rewild, shedding layers until we reach our true skin. It's time to take it off.